Hi guys, it's Allison, and I just wanted to jump on here really quick to give my 2 cents about paradigm shifts and the ripple effects from paradigm shifts and how they radiate outwards, and my thoughts on Wild Moon Woman and her video. I want to be very upfront about a number of things throughout this video, but first of all, that I really enjoyed Wild Moon Woman's videos. I'm sorry that she won't be making any more of them, potentially on the subjects that I watched, but I don't have any problems with the things that she talked about in her video and her change of path. I think that it was probably difficult for her to come out the way she did and talk about her change. Sorry, I have a cough. I got up super early this morning. I look like garbage. I sound like garbage, but nobody watches these videos anyway, so oh well. But I thought this was it really struck a chord in me because when she made her video about her change from sort of New Age spirituality to Christianity, and I'm not sure how to define that Christianity because there's as many different paths in Christianity as paths in the world for different things. But it reminded me a lot of something I learned about paradigm shifts. A paradigm shift is when you just have your worldview change in some way. And lots of us will have them in different ways over the course of our lives. But I had a paradigm shift several years ago where I was reading, I wanted to be more healthy and read books about food. And I read The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan, which is just a fantastic book. And I decided that I was only going to eat where possible. I'm not perfect. Life is hard. But I was going to try and get like ethically sourced and sustained food and organic food. And I was only going to eat ethically sourced meat. And that sort of rabbit hole led me to the decision that I didn't think there was a way I could eat ethically sourced meat. And then I read another couple books and I decided to try going vegan. I also want to say off the top of this video that I am not a perfect vegan. I do try. I have all kinds of excuses as to why I'm not a perfect vegan, and there's all kinds of failings within me that maybe I'll go into at some other point if people are interested in hearing me talk about that. But I do try, and I love eating vegan. My husband is a meat eater, and my daughter is vegetarian, and so I never eat meat, but I do sometimes have eggs and dairy out of largely convenience, and once in a while, temptation and taste, which isn't as I don't know, whatever. That's not my point. But my point is when I just made this choice, and I was telling people, that, oh yeah, I want to be healthier and this is what I've discovered and this is what I want to do. I want to eat vegan, at least for a while. I want to try to minimize my impact on the planet for environmental reasons, for ethical reasons largely. And it was really interesting to watch what happened to people, how people reacted to that choice. For everywhere from great, that sounds really cool, and there were some of those, to my family sort of not believing it, some members of my family, or just being like, oh, I only put a little bit of meat in this, so that's pretty much vegan, right? It's vegetarian. And people felt really sort of upset about this and worked up about it. And there was all kinds of different paths they would take, right? I'm worried about your health. What's going to happen to you now that you're a vegan? And I was like, well, never really brought up my health before when I was eating chicken wings and Doritos. So it's interesting that that's sort of where your mind goes. Or if you were on a desert island and there was only animals to eat, would you eat them? I'd be like, probably. But I'm just going to wait until I'm stranded on a desert island to figure that out, because that's not a question I need answered in my life right now. I live in Canada and the grocery stores are ridiculous. Like I can choose bazillions of things. It's grotesque how much food choice I have compared to the rest of the world. So I'm going to leave that desert island question for a while. And the hardest times for me were times of, and I swear to God, I'm bringing this back around to Wild Moon Woman and Tarot. But the hardest times for me were the times where there was like the Easter ham and the Christmas turkey and like these things that we did habitually that my family felt, and people around me, I think, felt to bigger and lesser degrees, and not that everybody was supportive, everybody was nice, and I never really had to deal with any jerks. Occasionally, someone would be like, oh, I love bacon. I'm like, well, good for you. But it was like an affront to them, right? That by making this choice and moving away from their choices, that I was somehow being accusatory about them. And because they were making different choices. And they're like, well, if you don't want to eat meat because it's not ethical, then you don't think I'm ethical. And I was like, I haven't thought about you at all in this choice for myself, like this deeply personal choice. And I get why people don't make that choice. They don't know all the information, or they just don't wanna, right? They're making different choices in their lives for different reasons, right? And lots of people who do all kinds of ethical things. My husband has been a diabetic ever since he was a kid, and he's largely vegetarian because I cook. I don't love to cook meat. I will if he cuts it up for him, but I don't love doing it. But he's like, I just can't, at this point in my life, I have to be so careful about what I eat. And I've been monitoring it my entire life and my blood sugars, and I just can't add another layer right now. And I'm like, cool. Like, I'm not saying anything about you and your choices. This is something that's inside me. And I don't love you less, and I'm not less respectful of what you do. Like, I don't love people who like make fun of how carnivorous they are, and like a lot of those like meat is murder, tasty murder. I love those people to just like sort of examine that a little bit. But that's not my place, and that's not my purpose, and it had nothing to do with this. And I want to be again clear that I've never spoken to Elise, because on YouTube I'm actually very shy. I have been lurking in this community for like a couple of years. I did a little bit of Ethany's tarot challenge this year just to give it a shot, but I'm super shy online. And I actually sort of wish now that I'd had the chance to say to her, well, maybe she's watching. If that's true, Elise, thank you. I loved your videos. I love your energy. I still love your energy. I loved watching your one video that's on your channel now. And I know that your decisions don't have anything to do with me or the things that I like. I'm trying to live a good and ethical and kind and spiritual life, and it's just different than yours. But I do understand that feeling where, and I felt it before when people have made other sort of different choices in their life. I have friends who don't drive, not because they can't, but because they're like, we can get by with bikes. It's better for the environment. I have not made that choice because I think it's too difficult or it's inconvenient with my kid, but I could make that choice if I was willing to shift those things around. I have not done that, right? But I don't view their lack of driving, I don't view their bicycling as somehow a judgment on me. And you can't. And I also don't want people to think, I hope I'm doing this well. I don't want people to think that I'm judging them for feeling hurt, right? Because I mean, again, I don't have any personal relationship with Elise. I'm super sad there won't be any more great videos in this subject that I'm interested in. And I want her to be happy. And I can understand people being confused about that path to happiness. Particularly those people closest in her life and who have depended on her. Like, those things are all understandable. But these paradigm shifts that ripple outwards, I feel like the things that they make you feel are just about your own self-examination, right? So I watched Elise. I watched her video. I didn't know anything was happening until like last week, because I never know anything. So I watched her video and I was like, oh, hurt feelings. Oh, hurt feelings. And I was like, ah. But so I examined my hurt feelings. And I'm like, no, it's different. I'm bummed I'm not going to see any more videos, but I feel secure in where I am right now. And she feels secure in where she is right now. So I think the value of other people's shifts that make us self-examine is that we can just solidify the ground we stand on or make changes if we want, right? I'm sure that Elise has spoken now to a whole new audience of people who do feel the way she feels and maybe have felt alienated in those feelings and she's reached out and they're solidifying their foundation. It's over here and my foundation's over here, but we can both be here and just love and be happy and peaceful and forgiving. And that's my perspective from where I'm standing, with really no personal investment in this other than my real enjoyment of her work in the past. And I have to let that go. But I've let lots of things go. I let go of the Harry Potter books because they ended and that's over, and I'm just letting it go. So I have to go. I'm running out the door. I feel like maybe this didn't make sense. But I guess my message is that if you're viewing people's paradigm shifts around you, it's such a great opportunity for that self-examination and deciding where you stand. And I'm feeling right now pretty good where I stand. And it's a shame that I don't count now those videos as part of my path in terms of standing on this ground. But that's okay, because it's a whole other path. And again, I have that space because I'm not personally invested. So I don't mean to take away anybody's experience who's had a different experience than me. It's just that I've experienced it from the other side, from people looking in and saying, I don't like that decision. It's not the decision I've made. And I feel like you're judging me. And I never judge anybody, right? Eating is so personal and the spiritual path is so personal. All we can do is love each other and support each other and be there for each other. So that if somebody wants in or wants to come back in, we're like, oh, we missed you, welcome back. Or if we go, that there's people saying, we love you, all the best. God go with you, or Goddess go with you, or whatever it is you believe. Because, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of news for the last 10 years. And we gotta be kind and love each other, because the world is a crazy place, and whatever we can do to make other people's lives happier and easier, if they deserve it, if they're, I'm not going to make any Trump jokes, but if whatever we can do, we should do. So I hope this made sense. I really have no idea. But if it spoke to you, I'm glad. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer about vegetarianism or veganism or my failures or my successes or how I'm trying to use tarot in my life or whatever. I'm just really thrilled that you watched this. And Elise, if you did watch this, thank you for all your videos and thank you for your energy and your spirit, and all the best.